we were yesterday, and we would continue from there. And some part of it I would like to skip, which are very short dialogues, and they just further the action. There's nothing new in that. Okay, so I hope you all have got the text in your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday we saw, yes, yesterday we studied the dialogue between Nora and Dr. Rank, right? And today it's that when Dr. Rank exists from the room, it's Krogstad who comes into the room, and then there's a dialogue between Krogstad and Nora. Okay, this is the part that we are going to skip, where Krogstad is just telling Nora that he has got dismissal letter in his hand, and he does not want to harm Nora, but he thinks that even Helmer knows that Nora had taken that money. But here Nora clarifies that Helmer is ignorant. He doesn't know anything. He is innocent. Not only ignorant, but he's innocent. He doesn't know anything. And but Krogstad says that if he is reinstated very quickly, he is going to be promoted, and he soon will become manager. And Nora resisted this. He says that she says that you don't have that capacity to become the manager of the bank and replace Helmer. Right. Again, there is a clash of ego between Nora and Nora and Krogstad. And Krogstad said, okay, fine. He has got the letter in his hand, and he's going to post that letter. Okay, that letter is to be posted directly into the letter box that is hanging at the door or at the main gate of the Nora's home. Right. So this is a part that we have escaped. Nora Krogstad. These dialogues you can see from the text, and you can escape these things. Okay. Then we come here. There is a long dialogue by Krogstad. He says, I will tell you, I want to rehabilitate myself. He doesn't have a good record of himself, and so he wants to rehabilitate himself. Last time also he had committed some fraud. So I want to rehabilitate myself, Mrs. Helmer. I want to go on, and in that your husband must help me. For the last year and a half, I have not had a hand in anything dishonorable. That means a year and a half ago, he has again done some illegal work. Amid all the time, I have been struggling in the most restricted circumstances. I was content to work my way up step by step. Now I am turned out by Helmer. And I am not going to be satisfied with merely being taken into favor again. I just don't want that my job should be reinstated, but what I want is I should be promoted. This is sheer blackmailing. I want to get on, I tell you. I want to get into the bank again in a higher position. Your husband must make a place for me. Okay, so in this way he is pressurizing Nora. Next, come to skip these dialogues and come to the lengthy dialogue of of Krogstad again. Have you forgotten that it is I who have been the keeping of your reputation? My reputation is saved. Your reputation is saved just because of me. Nora stands speechlessly looking at him. Well, now I have warned you. Do not do anything foolish. When Helmer has had my letter, I shall expect a message from him. When he will read my letter, he will call me. I know this. And be sure you remember that it is your husband himself who has forced me into such ways as this again. I was trying to become a good man, but since your husband has dismissed me from the job, that means he has forced me to do all this blackmailing and illegal activities. I will never forgive him for that. Goodbye, Mrs. Helmer. Okay, now when he is going, he's leaving. Nora is focusing whether he puts that letter into the letter box or not, and he does. She sees this, and then she thinks, in the letter box, there it lies, Torvald. Torvald, there is no hope for us now. That means her family is destroyed. Mrs. Linde is asking her, She comes into the room. What is the matter with you? You look so agitated. Nora, come here. Do you see that letter? There, look. You can see it through the glass in the letter box. Yes, I see it. That letter is from Croxted. Nora, it was Croxted who lent you the money. Now Mrs. Linde realizes that it is Croxted who was that person who lent money from whom Nora borrowed money to get Towers treatment. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now these oh, okay. Okay. Now just skip these dialogues. Then Nora says, Nora, just see, she's so agitated. If I should go out of my mind, and it might easily happen, Nora, or if anything else should happen to me, anything for the instance that might even prevent my being here. Nora, Nora, you are quite out of your mind. Now she's talking about leaving the house before something bad happens. Okay, someone is in the lobby. Let me take, okay, fine. Yeah, Nora, you're quite out of your mind, Nora. And if it should happen that there was someone who wanted to take all the responsibility, all the blame, you understand. Yes, how can you suppose? Then you must be my witness. Now she is trying to convince Christine that she can become the witness that it was the promissory note was signed by her father and not Nora. Because they have been old friends, remember? Now these dialogues again we are skipping and we come to Nora is going to Helmer's room. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So where were we? Helmer. Rank led me to expect, no. Did you get Helmer from inner room? Well, may I venture at last to come into my room or my own room again? Come along, Rank. Now you will see. What is this? What is what, dear? Rank led me to expect a splendid transformation. I thought you were going to show us your dance. You are going to dress up. Rank, I understood so, but evidently I was mistaken. Yes, nobody is to have the chance of admiring me in my dress until tomorrow. Until tomorrow, I'm not going to wear the dress. So both of you cannot admire me till tomorrow. But my dear Nora, you look so worn out. You are looking so tired. Have you been practicing too much? I haven't practiced at all, but you need to. Yes, indeed, I shall, Toward, but we will soon work it up again. Now he's trying to help Nora in dance. Yes, help me, Toward. I promise. What are you going to do there? Only see if any letters have come. Now what she is doing, Nora is trying to do is that prevent Helmer from reaching that letter box. Got it? Someone is there, Jagrati Kumari. Let me enter her first. Yeah. Okay. So what Nora is trying to do is that Helmer should not reach the letter box. Okay. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Helmer, well, let me look. Turns to go to the letter box. Nora at the piano plays the first bars of Tarantula. Helmer stops in the doorway. Aha. Now Helmer is going to the letter box and she has started piano. I can't dance tomorrow if I do not practice with you. Are you really so afraid of it? He thinks that she is afraid of dance. Yes, so dreadfully afraid of it. Let me practice at once. There is time now before we go to dinner. Sit down and play for me. You should play the piano so that I can dance and you watch me dance and tell me how is it I can improve my dance. I want your help for it. Okay, now see, here comes that agitated dance now that we were talking about. Nora takes out of a box on the tambourine and a long variegated shawl. She hastily drapes the shawl round her. Now she is just trying to pretend that she is about to dance, and this all she is doing so that she is agitated, and she is doing all this so that Helmer does not go to the letterbox. Okay, he doesn't reaches that. So she starts dancing. Now Helmer plays, Nora dances, Rank stands by the piano behind Helmer and looks on. Helmer, slower, slower. I can't do it any other way. Not so violently, Nora. This is the way. No, no, this is not a bit right. Didn't I tell you so? Laughing and swinging at the tambourine. Let me play for her. Rank says that you go and dance with her and I'll play. So Helmer gets up. Yes, do. I'll correct her better then. Rank sits down at the piano, plays, Nora dances more and more wildly. Helmer has taken up a position behind the stove and during her dance gives her frequent instructions. She does not seem to hear him. Her hair comes down and falls over her shoulders. She's just going wild and violent. She pays no attention to it but goes on dancing. She's dancing and just throwing her hands and feet and her hair are all open and they're falling here and there. So at the same time, Mrs. Linde comes. She's spellbound. Oh, such fun, Christine. Christine only knows that what is there in Nora's mind. So Nora, as she is dancing, she is just sharing her pain in this way with Christine. Such fun.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I think we accidentally skipped the part where Christine tells Nora that she will go and talk to Krogstad.
Okay, yes. This is something that I forgot to tell you that yes, Christine has convinced Nora that Krogstad will come after a day. He is out of station. She had called Krogstad, and Krogstad, she came to know that Krogstad is out of station, so he will come a day after. So she told Nora that she will talk to Krogstad, and they are old flames. Christine and Krogstad, once upon a time they had dated, they were in relation. And then Christine married a rich man because she had to look after her mother and younger brothers. So because of this, she married a rich man and Krogstad was heartbroken. Right. So now Christine has convinced Nora that she knows Krogstad and she will talk to Krogstad when he comes to the town. This is the part I skipped. Thank you for telling. Okay. So Helma, my dear darling Nora, you are dancing as if your life depended on it. You have put all your energy, all your mind, heart into this dance. So it does. Helma, stop. Rank, this is sheer madness. What she is doing, this is not dance. Stop, I tell you. Rank stops playing and Nora suddenly stands still. Helma goes up to her. I could never have believed it. You have forgotten everything I taught you. Okay, Nora, there you see. You will want a lot of coaching. Yes, you see how much I need it. You must coach me up to the last minute. Promise me that, Tower. You can depend on me. You must not think of anything but me, either tomorrow or today or tomorrow. You mustn't open a single letter, not even open the letterbox. Ah, you are still afraid of that fellow. You think that it's Krogstad, so you're afraid of that fellow. He knows this, but he does not know what is there in the letter. You just can't expect it. He's just thinking that it would be something official. So you're still afraid of it, of that fellow. Yes, indeed, I am. Nora, I can tell you from your looks that there is a letter from him lying there. I think that he has dropped a letter. You have seen that. I don't know. I think there is. But you must not read anything of that kind now. Nothing horrid must come between us until this is all over. Okay, I had forgotten to tell you one more thing. When Christine and Nora are talking to each other, Nora is saying that something wonderful is going to happen after one day. You know, she thinks that letter will be opened.
That dialogue will Abhi it will come after
Okay.
this conversation. interpretation. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. It's
Yeah.
good that you have read the play, and I was expecting that most of you will read the play so that we could discuss the play. But anyhow, let's go through.
Yes, ma'am.
Rank whispers to Helma, "You must not contradict her." Helma, "The child shall have her way." Again, to Nora, he is addressing child. See, this is why we are doing this reading of the play, that this is important, that whatever Nora decides and does in the last, what is it that led her to do that? I'm not justifying Nora. Don't take it in that way.
Yes, ma'am.
But what were the conditions? What were the circumstances under which she took that step? This is what we should know.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
because
And ma'am,
during
sorry.
those days, no one could even imagine that a woman could take such a step.
Yes, ma'am.
And
It's very
Helma,
radical.
Helma is not doing any kind of domestic violence. He is loving his wife. The home is peaceful. So many critics have criticized the ending, as someone, I think Shobna or it was Shaurya, someone who had suggested that the critics had, criticized the ending of the play. Because Helma is not doing anything violent here, see. The child shall have her way, but tomorrow night after you have danced, then you will be free. The maid appears in the doorway to the right. Dinner is served, ma'am. We will have champagne. Helen, very good, ma'am. Hello. Are we going to have a banquet? Now he's surprised at why Nora has ordered champagne. Yes, a champagne banquet until the small hours. And a few macros, Helen. Just for once, Helen. Come. Don't be so wild and nervous. Be my own little Skylark, as you used. Yes, dear, I will. But go in now, and you too, Dr. Rank. Christine, you must help me to do up my hair. Rank whispers to Helma as they go. I suppose there is nothing. She is not expecting anything. Helma, far from it, my dear fellow. It is simply nothing more than the childish nervousness I was telling you of. Now they have been discussing Nora's temperament, and Helma had said that Nora has got childish nervousness in her.
Ma'am, when
Yes.
Rank says that, I suppose there is nothing. She's not expecting. Is he like? I thought, is he talking about pregnancy or something? That is she not expecting some, because she's acting wildly and
Yeah, that is also one of the meanings. Yes. She's not expecting anything, no. Because expecting is like, is she pregnant? Right. So that is also one of the meanings. So see, the writer leaves the things open for the interpretation. The dialogues, when in life also, when we see certain situations, we perceive them according to our own experience and our own understanding. Okay, and then soon what will happen, we begin judging the things. We do not know what's behind the curtain. So these dialogues, they are open to meanings.
ma'am, there can be more than one interpretation.
Yes,
to
there
say.
can be more than one interpretation. Yes.
Okay.
Nora, well, Mrs. Linde, gone out of town. I could tell you from your face. Croxted is gone out of town. Here it comes, the point that I was telling. He is coming home tomorrow evening. I wrote a note for him. You should have let it alone. You must prevent nothing. You cannot prevent it. After all, it is a splendid to be waiting for a wonderful thing to happen. Wonderful thing. What are you waiting for? Now she is eager to know what is that wonderful thing that is going to happen. Oh, you won't understand. Go into them. I'll come in a moment. 5 o'clock, 7 hours. Until now, she is counting the minutes and time when the cycle is over, and 24 and 7 hours total. It will make 31 hours to live. We don't know what is that wonderful moment. What is she going to do? Helma comes. Where's my little Skylark? Here she is, with her arms outstretched for her husband. Third act. The same scene is there. The table has been placed in the middle of the stage with chairs around it. A lamp is burning on the table. The door into the hall stands open. Dance music is heard in the room above. Mrs. Linde is sitting at a table, idly turning over. So there, Helma and Nora, they are busy in their dance. Here, Mrs. Linde is all alone and perhaps she is waiting for someone, right, to come, and here the bell rings. Come in. Ah, there he is. Okay, come in. There is no one here. I found a note from you at home. What does this mean? It is absolutely necessary that I should have a talk with you. I wanted to talk to you. Really? And is it absolutely necessary that it should be here at Helmer's place? We could have talked at my place, at your place, right? Mrs. Linde, it is impossible where I live. There is no private entrance to my rooms. She is living as a paying guest or something. So come in. We are quite alone. The maid is asleep and the Helmers are at the dance upstairs. Are the Helmers really at dance tonight? He's surprised because he has dropped that letter and he thinks that something drastic would have happened here by now. Miss Linde, yes, why not? Certainly, why not? Now Nils, she calls him by first name. Now Nils, let us have a talk. Can we to have anything to talk about? Means between us the things have ended long years back, long time ago. So have we got something to talk? We have a great deal to talk about. I shouldn't have thought so. I don't think that we have anything left between us. No, you have never properly understood me. Was there anything else to understand except what was obvious to the whole world? A heartless woman jilts a man when a more lucrative chance turns up. You were in love with me, you saw a richer man, and you immediately broke the relationship. You are heartless. Miss Linde, do you believe I am as absolutely heartless as all that? And do you believe that I did it with a light heart? I was not affected by breaking our relationship? Didn't you? Nils, did you really think that? If it were, as you say, why did you write to me as you did at that time? At that time you said that you are going for a richer man. I could do nothing else, as I had to break with you. It was my duty also to put an end to all that you felt for me. I didn't want that you should feel bad, so I pretended myself to be bad, so that your pain could be lessened. Krugstead, wringing his hand. So that was it. And all this only for the sake of money. You are here also at Helber's place for money. Miss Linde, you must not forget that I had a helpless mother and 2 little brothers. We wouldn't wait for you. We couldn't wait for you, Nils. Your prospects seemed hopeless then. That may be so, but you had no right to throw me over for anyone else's sake. No, still he's not understanding. Miss Linde, indeed I don't know. Many a time did I ask myself if I had the right to do it. I was in conflict. My mind was in conflict. Krugstead more gently. When I lost you, it was as if all the solid ground went from under my feet. We were so much deep in love with each other that I was shattered. Look at me now. I am a shipwrecked man, clinging to the bit of wreckage. I have got no one in this world to call mine. So see, Christine, she is hinting at Mrs. Linde, but help may be near. It was near, but then you came and stood in my way. You have come again and you have lightened this old flame. I am disturbed. Unintentionally, Niels. It was only today that I learned it was your place I was going to take in the bank. I'm taking your job. And today I learned this, that what I have done. Okay. Today I have learned. No, because that would not benefit you in the least. No, I believe you if you say so. But now that you know it, are you not going to give it up to me? Will you not leave it? To this, she says no, because that would not benefit you in the least. This will not help you. Oh, benefit. I would have done it whether or no. Always you care for benefit. You saw benefit in marrying rich men, you went there. You saw benefit in coming to Helmers, you came here. You saw benefit in getting my job, you took that. But if it would have been me, I would have gave my job to you. Miss Linde, I have learned to act prudently, cautiously. Life and hard, bitter necessity have taught me that. My life has been hard. The necessities that I have felt in the life, they are hard, they are bitter, and they have taught me to be practical, to be pragmatic. Trusted, and life has taught me not to believe in fine speeches. You always spoke in good words, and I came for it. I believed that. Now I have learned that not to believe in words of the woman. Then life has taught you something very reasonable. But deeds you must believe in. Do you believe in deeds? What do you mean by that? You said you were like a shipwrecked man clinging to some wreckage. I had good reason to say so. Well, I am like a shipwrecked woman clinging to some wreckage. My condition is also same as yours. No one to mourn for, no one to care for. I too have got no one in this entire world. It was your own choice. You left me. There was no choice then. It was my circumstances. Well, what now? Nils, how would it be if we two shipwrecked people could join forces? What are you saying? Two on the same piece of wreckage would stand a better chance than each on their own. Let's come together. Christine, what do you suppose brought me to town? Why have I come here, where you live? Do you mean that you gave a thought? You gave me a thought? I could not endure life without work. All my life, as long as I remember, I have worked. And it has been my greatest and my only pleasure. But now I am quite alone in the world. My life is so dreadfully empty and I feel so forsaken. There is not the least pleasure in working for oneself. That means whatever work I have done, it was for others also, and that gave me satisfaction. Nils, give me someone and something to work for. Give me someone, that means come to me, and something to work for. We can work for this relationship. I don't trust that. Once he has been heartbroken and now he feels it's a risk. So he says, I don't trust that. It's nothing but a woman's overstrained sense of generosity that prompts you to make such an offer of yourself. You have received generosity, you're giving me generosity, it's overstrained. I don't trust that this is going to last forever. Mrs. Linde. Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. What is the meaning of overstrained sense of generosity? A woman's overstrained.
Yeah, when a person becomes too generous, more than what is normal, it strains the person. So this generosity, yeah, too much of it is then overstrained. So have you ever noticed anything of the sort in me? Do you think I'm losing my control over myself? Could you really do it?
Excuse me, ma'am. Yes. But why is he saying that a woman's overstrained sense of generosity that prompts you to make such an effort?
Yeah, it is. Women are generally considered to be impulsive, very passionate. So at this moment, you are, by your gender, you are overrunning your generosity. And very soon, women are moody.
So he's saying that you don't mean what you're saying. You're just saying it because of an impulse.
Because you're becoming too emotional.
Okay. He doesn't trust her yet.
Yet, yes.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed anything of the sort in me? Could you really do it? Tell me. Do you know all about my past life? Now he is taking these precautions. That before you decide that we should live together, we should come together. Do you know what has happened during these years? Mrs. Linde, yes. And do you know what they think of me here? What reputation I have here? You seem to me to imply that with me you might have been quite another man. whatever you did, because you were heartbroken, you married some other woman, you had children from her, you had another family. But if we two would have married, this is what you are trying to imply me. You seem to me to imply that with me you might have not committed such acts. See the answer, Krogstad says, I'm certain of it. I'm certain that if I would have got my love at that time, I would not have committed these illegal, immoral things. See how the softening of a man takes place. That losing love had turned him bitter. Losing love had turned him into a man who could do anything. And with love, he says that I am certain that I would have been a good man. Is it too late now? Christine, are you saying this deliberately? Yes, I am sure you are. I see it in your face. Have you really the courage then? I want to be a mother to someone, and your children need a mother. Here she makes a proposal. We two need each other, Niels. I have faith in your real character. I can dare anything together with you. I can face life, harsh circumstances of life, if you are there with me. Grasps her hands. Thanks, Christine. Now I shall find a way to clear myself in the eyes of the world. You give me that courage. But I forgot. Now there's some sound. So Mrs. Linde says, hush, the tarantula, go. They are coming. Okay. Why? What is it? Do you hear them up there? When that is over, we may expect them back. After that dance, they are going to come down. Yes, I will go. But it is all no use. Of course, you are not aware what steps I have taken in the matter of Helmers. Yes, I know all about that. And in spite of that, you have the courage to bound with me. I understand very well to what lengths a man like you might be driven by despair. You were in despair. You didn't have love in your life, and that is why you were committing such kind of villainy. If I could only undo what I have done. Now he himself wants, see, Christine did not have to tell her that you should take back the letter, but he himself feels that he should not break any family. Okay, he has got family just now.
Yes,
So
ma'am. So, ma'am, he's not really a bad man. He was all doing because he wanted to rehabilitate.
Yes, in frustration, and these were the things he wanted to rehabilitate. Yes, of course. So, Miss Linde, you cannot. Your letter is lying in the letter box now. Are you sure of that? Quite sure. Your letter has not yet been opened. Krogstad with a searching look at her. Is that what it all means? That you want to save your friend at any cost? Tell me frankly, is that it? That you're making this sacrifice for the sake of your friend and you don't really love me? Mrs. Linde, Niels, a woman who has once sold herself for another's sake doesn't do it a second time. Once I have done it for my family's sake, now I won't do for anyone's sake. Right? Krogstad, I'll ask for my letter back. He wants this letter back now, having received love from Christine. Yes, of course I will. I'll wait here until Helmer comes. I will tell him he must give me my letter back, that it concerns my dismissal, that he is not to read it. No, Niels, you must not recall your letter. But tell me, wasn't it for that very purpose that you asked me to meet you here? In my first moment of fright it was, but 24. Okay, this I think we can do because our time is exceeding. I just saw that. How much is left? Not much is left. I think in one class, next class, we are going to complete this.
Excuse
one
me,
or
ma'am.
two class. Yes.
Ma'am, will you explain how is the dance symbolical? Because you said it was symbolical.
It is symbolical because that dance, the way she dances, Nora, that shows her agitation. That represents that this dance was inspired by a spider. The spider is very poisonous, the type of spider that the dance is named after is a poisonous spider. So Krogstad here is that kind of spider. So on seeing the spider, a person freaks out and throws his hands and feet in the same way Nora is throwing her hands and feet in her dance, in her agitation. Right?
Yes.
So here Krogstad is a spider and Nora has seen that spider and so she is dancing in that particular way. So as the poison will kill the person if it stings, in the similar way, if Krogstad's letter is opened here, it will destroy the family. It will kill the family.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Right?
And ma'am, can you please ask everyone to switch on their cameras for a minute? So I will.
Yes. Please switch on your cameras so that we can have a class photo. And the symbolism and all the important aspects, the theme of the novel, central theme of the novel, the interactions between these characters, these all we shall be discussing as soon as the play is over, and within 1 or 2 days we will complete this play. I told you that this month we shall be doing Doll's House, and today is 15th, and I think before 20th or maybe by 22nd we would be able to complete this play, and then we can carry on discussion on unit 1, 2 and 3 that I have completed so far. All the doubts can be answered during those days after 22nd of December, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay then, have a
And
nice day.
ma'am, what? Yes, ma'am. And
Yes,
ma'am, what
yes.
will be the next play that we will be studying after this?
Next unit we are moving. Each
After
unit
this, the
has one play.
Tempest, the
Hello.
Tempest, or ma'am,
No,
you will be
leave that
teaching us.
Tempest now. Don't go for Tempest now. Let's first complete the syllabus, and if the time permits, then we will come to Tempest, because King Lear we have done in great detail. So Tempest we would not be doing in that detail. I mean line by line, sentence by sentence.
Okay.
Okay. First
Thank you,
we'll
ma'am.
complete this. And your second paper. What about the second paper?
Ma'am, we haven't had any classes of it.